Okay, so this is the classification video for the new skills project. My new skill was origami, specifically making little butterflies out of sticky notes. This skill can be classified as a closed serial skill. I say this because if you don't do the folds, which all the folds are like little discrete tasks, if you don't do those folds in that order, you're not going to get the same result as someone who did them like the last step first, for instance. So the general goal for the skill, there's really the main thing that you're trying to do is try to make this sticky note. So one of these turn into a little butterfly like this. There are like a little bit of allowable errors, such as every fold doesn't need to be perfect. Doesn't have to be this perfect, super accurate, painted down to the gills butterfly, just as long as you get the general idea of the wings here, little back wings here. That center fold is nice. Underbelly looks good too. As long as you get that general idea, you're golden. It doesn't really have to go all out and have to look like an identical, like anatomically correct butterfly, going for the general shape of one. The approach that I took for this project was to do all of my practices in big chunks over the course of the weeks, the 4 or 5. I'd practice longer than that. But to kind of do big chunks of practice, then a little break, then big chunks of practice, and a little bit of break. Most of the time I did that at work, where I'm at right now. So I did them kind of in between when I had like a second, just try to bang one out real quick, make one real quick, and then move on to the next one. Just keep doing that. One thing that really helped me early on was getting an opinion from other people. So a lot of my coworkers kind of saw what I was doing, were asking questions, and I showed them the like website and the video. So originally I found this from like a video on TikTok, but then I found like a website that had more specific instructions. So I was mostly working off of that. So I had them coworkers read that, kind of get like a different interpretation of it. See if they could help me out, if they could just, by telling me something different, like hearing it from them, if that would kind of help out. And it really did. Hearing that information from somebody else other than just like reading it off of a screen helped me kind of like guide myself. So that was really how my practices were kind of structured. I did them in like a lot at different increments. So I would make like 5 to 10, like each little like practice session. Now obviously I have like 10 recorded videos of that, but I would make like a bunch at one time, and then I would take like a few days off to do other things. But yes, that's how I structure my practice. Some skills that I think helped me kind of get the idea of this a little better. I'm a big like video gamer, so I think that helped out a lot with the just like finger dexterity to kind of make the certain folds and make them accurately without over folding something, or like even the little moments, little folds. Like it took me a little bit to get the like kind of pyramid, like once you get down like the cross sections and you have that big kind of like star looking thing, you have to like pop it and then fold and you get that little diamond or pyramid thing. That took me still a little bit, but I think it would have taken me longer if I didn't have the the finger dexterity that I would have gotten from gaming that I do now. Also, I think I've been doing most of my school projects since like 8th, 9th grade, something like that, on computers. So I think typing kind of help with that. Same idea with the finger dexterity, just being able to move and use my fingers how they needed to in this certain instance. Lastly, I think Fitz does a better job of explaining how my process went. So obviously the first stage in the Fitz, his kind of general idea of things, the Fitz stages of learning, was that cognitive stage, so that learning what to do, when to do it, all that stuff. So early on, I had a big guide basically to help me. So I had that big screen on top, looking at it. I was watching videos on how to do it. So I was getting all of that feedback coming in. And I did see, like, I think, like, the butterfly that I made on my first video is, like, significantly worse than the one I made on my 4th video. So we're seeing that very, like, initial, like, boom, once you improve, fast and hard, and then you hit that kind of plateau, or it just kind of slows down. Instead of like this exponential change, you go to like maybe a more linear change. So that's always like cognitive stage when I'm still learning. I'm getting feedback from other people helping me out. So yeah, it's cognitive stage. Next one is that fixation stage, where I'm focusing more on getting things in the right order. And you can see like, those motor programs are starting to get built inside of my head. I think I actually talked about it in one of the later videos. But yeah, so like I'm able to kind of do it a little more without thinking. Like I'm still having to like take breaks and being like, okay, well, I need to focus on this specific step, this certain fold to make sure it's right. So I need to like, stop talking to you for a second, go back to it, work. Okay, talk to them, come back, keep going. So that was that stage where you can see where I'm still kind of like those programs are getting built, so they're getting used to doing it, but it's just kind of, a process of actually bringing them back out. And my, folds are getting a little more effective. They're not as sloppy. Like I think, yeah, that first butterfly was god awful, but you see them and I'm getting faster. Like a lot of it's not taking me as long time to make those butterflies than it did before, where I was having to stop, read it, ask help, all that fun stuff. And the last one, the autonomous stage, which I think I was doing from like practice video 7-ish, 6-ish. I was pretty much able to hold full conversations while making the butterflies, or while I was, speaking to a coworker. So that, that stage is all about like, oh, you've gained, like, you're there, like you are a master at this skill. All of the attention is decreased for the skill you're trying to do, and you're able to perform different activities while you're focused on doing the other one. And so, yeah, like I said, during those videos, I was like having full conversations about how it was relaxing for me and like different strategies that I'd used. But more specifically, like at work, I was able to hold full conversations or talk to patients and do it, or explain to patients to do it. And even about halfway through, I was teaching other people to do it as well, and able to recognize the mistakes they were making, and apply some of the knowledge that I did to that one, to them, to help them learn a little quicker, hopefully, than I did. But overall, I think this project went really well. I found like a new little hobby that I can start doing in my spare time. It was really cool to kind of see, like going back and watching these videos, see those actual stages that I just talked about. Kind of like, oh, I'm definitely like, oh, here I'm at that stage, here I'm at this stage, here I'm at that stage. So that was really cool to see. But overall, I think this project was very successful. It was very cool. I actually really enjoyed this. So yeah, there we go.